so that did not get recorded. I was talking, but there was no audio. So we're gonna do this again one more time. Okay, one more time.
You're good, bro. You're good. No worries.
Great, great, great. All right, guys. So here we are. We're gonna be doing a case study, raw, authentic, unedited, unscripted, with John. He was able to get his first couple payouts or his first payout, and he's working on the next couple ones. Things are starting to look up, right? So we're gonna be here just asking some questions, get some insight on his trading, and see how we can learn from it and apply that to y'all who are currently in that same position trying to make things work. And yeah, so let's go ahead and introduce yourself for the second time because we've obviously done this before.
So my name is John Paisley. I'm a student right now, finance major in college. I started trading about a year ago, and me and Vic met on Instagram, and we did a little call where he helped me out with some trading stuff.
Yeah. So nothing too crazy, guys. Mind you, John kind of knew what he was doing. So I already knew that things was gonna work out for him, right? Just gave him a little inspiration, a little motivation, and a little bit of advice to push him in the right direction. And lo and behold, here we are. So we're gonna get into these questions and just finally understand, what it took for him to make that switch and turn things around. So my first question for you, John, is gonna be: give us a little insight on what you were doing before that was, I guess, unprofitable.
So I would say the main thing is it was definitely more like psychological reasons why I wasn't profitable. I knew pretty much just as much as I know on like ICT concepts back then. But I probably know a little bit more now, but I knew enough at that point to be profitable, but I was just over trading. I was, if I would take a loss, I would double down on the loss. I would revenge trade. And one of the main things also is I would kind of just like hop strategies. Like I was always looking for the perfect setup, the perfect strategy that's going to work every single time. And I finally realized like there's no perfect strategy. Like nobody knows exactly what the market's going to do. You just have to make the best decision based on like the highest probability.
There we go. And guys, you can hear how he's explaining it, right? Like I told y'all, John already knew what he had to do. We just had to make a couple minor tweaks. What I would say when it came to his strategy was for me to really just double down and let him know that he had to figure out his edge and stick with it. Because, like he mentioned, he was jumping or he was considering jumping things, right? And I'm pretty sure I let you know that you just had to back test that and make sure that what you were actually doing had profitable results. And once you had that, all you had left was the psychology and risk management aspect of it. And as you can see, he's literally letting us know that that is what it took for him to become profitable. Guys, by the way, the call with me and John is still on my page, so you can see that as proof. Obviously, like I said, this is raw and authentic, non-scripted. So my next question for you is: when you decided to take your eval, right? So what was your feeling? How did you feel going into like that eval that got passed, for example?
So basically, on that eval that got passed, I mean, at this point now, I kind of think about evals a lot differently than I used to.
Hmm.
But when I first passed that eval, Um, I mean, I was slowly chipping away at that profit target. I would go up, I would go down. I was just slowly chipping away at it, trying not to blow the account. And I mean, I saw what I thought was an A plus setup, and I was like, all right, like, here it is. Like, I'm going to enter this, and I'm either going to pass the account or it's
It's
gone
gone.
and it doesn't matter. Whatever happens, happens. And I took that trade. I went in with some good size and I passed.
Guys, key word. Listen to how he mentions that he was confident in his setup, took it with size. This is how you have to approach these evals, guys. These evals cost, especially in the futures platform, as little as $50 and allow you to capitalize and scale yourself and scale your trading and make payouts like John did, right? 2,500, I think you said was the, wait, we'll get into that, my fault. Let's not skip these. But when it comes to payouts, right? So you're literally leveraging a very little amount of money, or well, some people might not be little, but in the case, like a little amount of money to make a lot of money. So it's all about your ROI. Understanding the probabilities of trading allows you to take the A plus setups with good size, pass your account, get away from the eval stage, and start trading to make money. Because guys, one thing you gotta understand, same thing you do in the eval stage is the same thing you do while currently trading for you to make money, right? The only thing that's gonna change probably just gonna be that risk management, because you're gonna manage your risk differently, knowing that you have an account that has the capability to pay you out. But when it comes to passing the account, that was beautiful. That's the way to do it. That's the way I do them, right? That's what makes sense. Now, so you passed your account, you got into the live space. Did you have any change in feelings, emotions, psychology, anything like that?
Definitely. So, I mean, when I first got in there, first day on the Express, I took a trade. I don't remember if it was the best trade or not, but I made 600 on the first day. I felt like I was on top of the world. And then, bro, reality hit and it was December price action
Mm-hmm.
and it was rough, man. I mean, I went for up like 1,200 on the account at one point, all the way back down to like $100.
Wow.
And I was like, fuck, man, like I'm either gonna lose this account or I'm gonna get a payout. So I locked in, I started looking for only the best setups and here I am, two more accounts now, like three or four payouts in, like
That's
you
crazy.
just you got to make it work.
Hey guys, y'all gotta understand something. When it comes to the experience in it, for example, I didn't trade the December price action for especially the last 2 quarters, but this comes with experience. This is knowing that this is low probability market conditions, right? But look at John. He did trade that, right? He ended up going down, which is what happens. But you got to understand that mindset is what is going to get you out of that situation. He understood that all he has to do was the exact same thing he did that passed his eval accounts, the exact same thing that he has to do that will make him a profitable trader, and making that decision within yourself to do it. That was it. Like he said, he locked in, found his A plus setups, and took them. And look at where he is now, right? So, guys, you got to understand once you've understood and mastered or gotten a good grasp of the technicals, a lot of the rest of the battle is the psychology and the mindset point of view. Can we attest to that?
Yeah, 100%.
That's
I mean, once you figure out the technicals, you got to stick with it. And, when you take those losses, you can't think like, oh, like my strategy or my system doesn't work anymore. Like, each loss is just like you have to have losses. Like for like every winning statistic has losses. So like a loss is a good loss.
literally, guys. So you've heard that. Um, by the way, I'm gonna cut this out if anything's flawed. But hey, it's going pretty good. Going pretty good. So another question. So the days leading up to your payouts, right? How did you treat those days? Because some people like people have a fear of being successful. I don't know what it is, so they self sabotage themselves. Do you feel like you had any feelings like that, or did you just stick with the plan?
I've definitely like even like when I was getting into trading, I thought like once I get profitable, like I'm never gonna like run into these issues. I'm not gonna overtrade. I'm not gonna break any of my rules. But like that stuff still happens. Even like nobody's perfect, and I make some mistakes trading, but when I get close to a payout, I like to decrease my risk like a decent amount because I want to
You just want
lock
those
in
winning
that.
days.
Yeah, I want to lock in that $150 day where I can pay myself out and then, I'll worry about making more like next time.
Guys, that's a great approach, right? Is it the only approach? Of course not. But if it works for you, that's one thing I found out through my time trading. If you find something that works for you, you have to stick with it and run with it. Why? Because the things you see online, the things that look more flashy, there's more detail to it. There's way more detail to it. I know it kind of sounds like I'm rambling, but let me explain what I mean. As you can hear right here, John says that he has a specific way of doing things when it comes to taking the payout. Some people might not agree. Some people might say, just keep trading how you trade, bro, and whatever happens, happens. But you gotta understand, you gotta pay yourself as a trader because the trading has two parts, right? It has you following the plan, following the mechanized or the day to day, the things that you do that get you the profits. Then there's the psychological battles, right? How will John feel knowing that the next day was a loss, a perfectly fine loss, following his plan, but knowing that he was one day away from a payout, knowing that his trade ran 150 into profit, he could have capitalized and closed out on a winning day and got paid. That can mess with your mind. That can turn your next trading day into a loss, and then your next trading day into a loss. Does that make sense? So when you can see it like this and you can understand that, okay, I found what works for me, do your very, very best to not change that. If a change does occur, it needs to feel natural. Okay, so and it's not like changing your strategy because that is something you never do, as you can finally understand, right? But so we talked about the psychology, we talked about the winning days leading to it. Let's talk about the amount. Nothing too, obviously, way, way more to come in the future, right? But what was your biggest payout, I guess? Because you've gotten a couple now, right?
Yeah, so actually, I took my biggest payout actually like 20 or 30 minutes ago. Before this, I just hit some good shorts on gold on Asia session,
Okay.
and I just took a $2,800 payout.
Hey guys, I'm telling you, it's possible. It's possible, right? It's all about having the right knowledge and being able to apply yourself in the right ways, and that is it, guys. So, like I said, huge congratulations to John. Very, very proud of him. When he first said his payout, I guess it's hard to see the emotions through text, but guys, I was jumping, right? I was like, wow, someone that I've spoke to was able to do this for themselves, right? It just meant a lot to me. So I had to get on this call. Hopefully, way more calls coming soon from John, from other people, because that's what it's all about, right? So with that being said, thanks a lot, John. More success to you in the future. And yeah, thanks for getting on this call, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. I'm sure we'll be doing a lot more in the future.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Take care. Have a good rest of your day.
All right, you as well.